Look, nobody wants to think about World War III starting tomorrow, but let's be real. Hope isn't a strategy. If everything goes sideways on a global scale, you're either ready or you're screwed. This isn't about paranoia. It's about having your act together when grocery stores are empty and your phone stops working. I'm going to walk you through 10 things that'll keep you breathing when the world loses its mind. No fluff, no BS, just what matters. 1. Water, the one thing you'll die without first. Here's the blunt truth. You can survive weeks without food, but only days without water. When a major conflict breaks out, clean water disappears faster than toilet paper during a pandemic. Your body needs it for everything, drinking obviously, but also cooking, staying clean, and treating injuries. Start with bottled water, sure, but that's just buying time. What happens when it runs out? You need filtration systems, purification tablets, something to boil water in. Basically, multiple ways to turn sketchy water into something that won't kill you. Here's what most people don't get. Even mild dehydration turns you stupid. Your brain gets foggy, your reactions slow down, and you start making terrible decisions. In a survival situation, that's how you end up dead. Think long-term. Get yourself rainwater collection systems or those collapsible containers that don't take up space. A decent portable filter can pull bacteria, parasites, and a bunch of chemical nasties out of water that looks like mud. That puddle in the street, with the right filter, it becomes drinkable. When infrastructure collapses, and it will, rivers get contaminated, wells dry up or get poisoned, while public water systems stop functioning entirely. You need to be mobile, which means carrying a compact filtration system in whatever bag you're using to get the hell out of Dodge. But gear is only half the equation. You need to know where to find water in the wild and how to treat it without fancy equipment. Can you identify safe water sources? Do you know how to purify water using just sunlight and plastic bottles? These skills separate people who make it from people who don't. Imagine walking through abandoned neighborhoods or forests, carefully collecting water from any source you can find, filtering it through your portable system, and rationing every ounce like it's liquid gold. Because it is. Water isn't just one item on a checklist. It's the foundation of literally everything else you'll try to do. Without it, none of your other preparations matter because you'll be dead in 72 hours. 2. Food. Because starving sucks and makes you weak, food does more than fill your stomach. It keeps your head clear, your muscles working, and prevents you from turning into a desperate, panicked mess. When WW3 breaks out, supermarkets get looted or abandoned within hours. Supply chains that bring food to your city? Toast? This is why you need non-perishable, calorie-dense food that doesn't go bad. We're talking canned goods, dried beans and lentils, freeze-dried camping meals, protein bars, stuff that'll last months or years sitting in your closet. Fresh food is great until it rots 3 days into the apocalypse. Non-perishable food gives you time and options. You can plan your meals, ration intelligently, and not worry about everything spoiling while you're dealing with, staying alive. Calories are king. Your body needs fuel to think, move, fight, and handle stress. You need protein to maintain muscle, fats for long-term energy, and carbs for quick fuel. Malnutrition doesn't just make you weak, it makes you vulnerable to disease and injury. Go for compact, portable options. Freeze-dried meals are brilliant because they weigh almost nothing and just need water. Canned beans and tuna are versatile. You can eat them cold or cook them, mix them with other stuff, and they pack serious nutrition. Just remember to rotate your stock every year or so to keep things fresh. Learn to cook with minimal equipment. A portable camping stove can turn basic ingredients into actual meals, which matters more than you'd think. But hot food boosts morale when everything else is falling apart. Picture survivalists stacking cans in bunkers, organizing freeze-dried pouches by date, labeling everything methodically. It's not just about having food. It's about the psychological security of knowing you won't starve. When chaos is everywhere, opening a can of something edible grounds you, reminds you that you're still human. Proper nutrition keeps your immune system functional, your brain sharp, and your body capable of handling whatever physical demands survival throws at you. In a world suddenly at war, food becomes both fuel and comfort, which is why you need way more of it than you think. 3. Shelter and warmth. Exposure kills faster than bullets. When global conflict starts, being outside without protection can kill you just as dead as any weapon. You need shelter, whether that's a tent, a tarp, or some improvised hideout you cobbled together. Good shelter protects you from cold, rain, wind, and prevents hypothermia and illness that'll kill you when there's no hospital to visit. Warmth is non-negotiable. Sleeping bags rated for cold temperatures, those metallic thermal blankets, portable heaters, these keep you alive when temperatures drop. Even in relatively mild climates, nights can get dangerously cold. Your body loses heat fast when you're stressed, underfed, or wet. Fire is your best friend if you can use it safely. It provides warmth, light, a way to cook, and honestly, just seeing flames makes you feel more human. Learn to start fires with basic tools, flint and steel, fire starters, even friction methods if you're hardcore. Know how to find dry kindling and how to keep a fire going with minimal fuel. Think about survivalists building emergency shelters in forests, squatting in abandoned buildings, or creating underground spaces. Every detail counts. Is it waterproof? Insulated? Can it be hidden from people who might mean you harm? A good shelter isn't just walls and a roof. It's concealment, protection, and comfort rolled into one. Improvised shelters can hide you from threats, both human and animal. In a war zone, being invisible is often better than being fortified. A lean-to covered in branches might keep you safer than a locked house that screams supplies inside. Here's the thing people forget. Shelter is psychological as much as physical. Having a secure space where you can rest, think clearly, and recover mentally is crucial. When everything is chaos, that little bubble of safety, warm, dry, protected, can mean the difference between giving up and pushing forward. In the first nights of a global conflict, exposure and panic kill more people than violence. Prioritizing shelter ensures you're protected from the elements, healthy enough to continue, and mentally prepared for whatever nightmare comes next. 4. First aid and medical supplies. You're your own doctor now. In World War III conditions, medical help could be days away, or it might not come at all. A comprehensive first aid kit becomes absolutely critical. We're not talking about Band-Aids and aspirin here. You need real medical supplies. Bandages, antiseptics, painkillers, antibiotics if you can get them, burn treatments, splints, the works. But supplies alone aren't enough. You need to know how to use them. But basic first aid knowledge multiplies your survival odds dramatically. In chaotic environments, injuries and infections are constant threats. A small cut can become infected and turn into a life-threatening situation in days. A sprained ankle can immobilize you completely. Your kit gives you the ability to treat problems immediately, and your knowledge ensures you don't make things worse. Stock your kit properly. Tweezers, medical gloves, a CPR mask, trauma shears. For longer emergencies, add advanced items like sutures, tourniquets, Israeli bandages, and full medicine guides. Know how to stop severe bleeding, stabilize broken bones, treat burns, and recognize signs of shock or infection. Imagine treating a wound in a dark shelter with limited supplies, carefully cleaning and bandaging an injury while trying to prevent infection. The difference between having the right supplies and not can literally be the difference between living and dying. Don't forget personal medications. If you have diabetes, asthma, heart conditions, or any chronic illness, you need enough medication to last through prolonged conflict when pharmacies are closed and prescriptions are impossible to fill. Stock up now, rotate supplies, and keep them protected. A well-stocked first aid kit combined with medical knowledge gives you autonomy when professional healthcare evaporates. You become the medic, the doctor, the surgeon, all rolled into one person trying desperately to keep yourself and others alive. Ultimately, your first aid kit isn't just supplies in a bag. It's your lifeline, your backup plan, your ability to handle medical emergencies when calling 911 isn't an option anymore. 5. Communication devices. Information becomes survival currency. When World War III starts, power grids fail, internet infrastructure collapses, and your cell phone becomes a paperweight. This is exactly when you need reliable communication devices more than ever. Emergency radios, shortwave receivers, ham radios, satellite phones, these become your connection to information and other people. Shortwave and ham radios let you receive news broadcasts, emergency alerts, and communicate with others without depending on cellular networks that no longer exist. Battery-powered or hand-crank emergency radios keep working even when there's no electricity for hundreds of miles. If you're moving in a group, walkie-talkies are essential for coordinating movements without giving away your position by yelling or using traceable technology. So range matters. Get ones that can communicate over several miles. not just across a parking lot. Picture survivalists hunched over radios in dark basements, carefully tuning frequencies to catch emergency broadcasts, tracking which areas are safe and which have become war zones. These signals are lifelines carrying critical information about safe routes, incoming dangers, and available resources. Information itself becomes a survival tool in chaotic conflict. Knowing which roads are blocked, where hostile forces are moving, which shelters still have supplies, this knowledge can save your life a dozen times over. Without information, even the best stockpile of supplies becomes useless because you don't know how to use them strategically. Power sources for your devices matter enormously. Solar chargers, rechargeable battery banks, hand crank generators. These ensure your communication tools keep functioning indefinitely. Learn basic communication protocols like simple codes, call signs, or even Morse code if you're serious about this. A robust communication system reduces isolation, enables coordination with allies or family members, and dramatically improves your decision-making ability. In survival scenarios, knowing what's happening around you can be just as critical as having water or food. Without communication, you're operating blind, making decisions based on guesswork and hope. That's how you walk into danger or miss opportunities for rescue. Communication devices are your eyes and ears in a world that's gone dark and violent. 6. Personal defense tools, because not everyone's friendly anymore. Let's be brutally honest, when society collapses, yet not everyone will be looking to cooperate. You need personal defense tools to protect yourself from hostile people or aggressive animals. This ranges from pepper spray and tactical knives to firearms where legal and when you're properly trained. Personal defense isn't about being aggressive or looking for trouble. It's about deterrence and having options when trouble finds you. A visible defensive tool often makes potential threats reconsider, giving you the chance to escape without violence. Multi-tools, tactical batons, compact firearms, if legal and you're trained, these provide versatility in dangerous situations. But here's the critical part. Tools are worthless if you don't know how to use them under extreme stress. Get training practice. Make handling your defensive tools second nature. Think about survivalists practicing defensive tactics, carefully moving through abandoned streets, or establishing secure perimeters around their shelters. Defense comes in layers: physical barriers like reinforced doors, early warning systems like simple alarms, and finally, personal defense tools as a last resort. Psychologically, having a defensive strategy reduces fear and allows you to focus on other survival priorities. When you're constantly terrified of being attacked, you can't think clearly about finding food, purifying water, or planning your next move. In a world suddenly at war, personal defense isn't about dominance or playing hero. It's about ensuring you survive long enough to see another sunrise. The goal is always to avoid confrontation. But when avoidance isn't possible, you need to be prepared. 7. Much protective clothing and gear, your mobile survival shield. Proper clothing can be the difference between surviving and succumbing to environmental hazards. In a WW3 scenario, you're dealing with unpredictable conditions, harsh winters, chemical threats, extreme heat, contaminated environments. You need durable, layered protective clothing. We're talking insulated jackets, waterproof pants, thermal underwear, good socks, gloves that actually work, and boots that won't fall apart after a week of hard use. Protective headgear and masks, gas masks, dust masks, respirators, shield you from airborne threats that can kill you without warning. Clothing isn't about fashion or comfort. It's about regulating your body temperature, preventing injuries, and reducing exposure to dangerous elements. Your clothes are armor against the environment. Think about survivalists carefully layering clothing, adjusting gear for different conditions, wearing jackets with hidden pockets for supplies, and reinforced fabric that resists tearing. Camouflage can keep you hidden from hostile forces, while bright colors or reflective strips might help allies find you during evacuations. Footwear deserves special attention. Quality boots allow you to navigate debris fields, mud, rough terrain, and keep walking when others are crippled by blisters and foot injuries. Broken feet mean you can't move, and if you can't move, you're dead. Layering is key to adaptability. When you're working hard or it's warm, remove layers to prevent overheating and dehydration. When temperatures drop or you're resting, add layers to maintain body heat. This flexibility keeps you comfortable and functional across changing conditions. Good clothing and gear act like a mobile shelter for your body, protecting you from temperature extremes, injury, chemical exposure, and environmental hazards. In chaotic situations, being properly equipped allows mobility, maintains health, and gives you confidence to keep moving when others are forced to shelter in place. Don't overlook this. Exposure kills fast, and inadequate clothing is often the difference between making it through the first week and becoming a casualty of the elements. 8. Multi-tools and survival gear. Your problem-solving arsenal. When normal infrastructure collapses, simple everyday tasks become genuine survival challenges. This is where multi-tools and specialized survival gear become absolutely essential. Low items like Swiss Army knives, folding saws, compact entrenching tools, paracord, fire starters, these allow you to tackle countless obstacles efficiently. Multi-tools consolidate a dozen functions into one compact package. Cutting rope, preparing food, repairing damaged gear, opening containers, making adjustments to equipment, all of this becomes efficient and safe with the right tool. Paracord is incredibly versatile. Build shelters, repair torn clothing, create weapon slings, lash together structures, even use it as an emergency tourniquet. 50 feet of good paracord can solve 100 different problems. Fire starters ensure you can create warmth and cook food regardless of conditions. Waterproof matches, ferro rods, magnesium fire starters have multiple methods because relying on just one is asking for trouble. And the small survival kits should include whistles for signaling, signal mirrors, and compasses for navigation. Each item increases your autonomy and reduces your dependency on resources that might not exist anymore. Picture survivalists improvising solutions with minimal tools, digging defensive positions, cutting branches for shelter, construction, repairing broken equipment in the field. Each tool multiplies what one person can accomplish alone. Beyond pure utility, multi-tools encourage creative problem-solving and adaptability. In World War III conditions, you'll face unexpected obstacles constantly. Blocked roads, collapsed bridges, broken shelters, injured companions. Tools empower you to overcome these challenges instead of being defeated by them. Ultimately, multi-tools aren't just pieces of metal and plastic, they're survival multipliers. Which a well-equipped kit allows a single person to build shelter, create fire, hunt or forage food, repair critical equipment, and navigate dangerous terrain. In post-disaster scenarios, skill combined with the right equipment often equals the difference between life and death. 9. Portable power and lighting. Conquering the darkness. When electrical grids fail across entire regions, access to power becomes a critical survival factor. Portable battery banks, solar charging panels, hand-crank generators, flashlights, and lanterns are essential for maintaining communication, preparing food, and having light when darkness falls. A reliable light source is more than convenient. It's a fundamental safety tool. Darkness conceals hazards, predators, and threats. Flashlights, headlamps, and lanterns allow you to move safely at night, signal for help, and complete necessary tasks after sunset. Solar chargers and portable batteries keep your essential electronics running even during prolonged power outages. Radios, GPS devices, phones, even without cell service, they have other uses. These need power to function, and you need them to survive. Imagine survivalists climbing to rooftops to position solar panels for maximum sunlight exposure, cranking hand-powered generators to charge critical devices, and carefully managing their power budget to make batteries last as long as possible. Efficient power management becomes crucial. Not everything needs to stay charged constantly. Prioritize your emergency radio and communication devices. Medical equipment if you have any, lighting for safety, everything else is secondary. So red light settings on flashlights preserve your night vision and don't attract unwanted attention from far away. Knowing how to use light strategically, when to use it, when to stay dark, can keep you safe from threats you'd rather avoid. In chaotic scenarios, power is a force multiplier. It gives you information through charged radios, visibility through reliable lighting, and mobility because you can move safely at night instead of being trapped until sunrise. Darkness can be as dangerous as any armed threat. It causes accidents, prevents you from seeing hazards, and creates psychological stress. Portable power and lighting allow you to navigate safely, communicate effectively, and survive in conditions where others are stumbling blind through the darkness. 10. Navigation tools. Because GPS won't save you. In wartime chaos, GPS satellites might fail, familiar roads get destroyed, and routes you've used your whole life become death traps. You need reliable navigation tools that don't depend on technology, paper maps, a quality compass, and knowledge of natural navigation methods. Maps provide situational awareness. They let you plan routes to safety, locate resources, find allies, and avoid danger zones. Unlike your phone, paper maps don't need batteries and can't lose signal. A compass guides you when visibility is poor or landmarks are gone. Learning to use a compass properly, not just red needle points north, but actual navigation, is a skill that can save your life repeatedly. Understanding celestial navigation using the sun's position during the day or star positions at night adds another layer of resilience. If all your gear gets lost or destroyed, you can still figure out which direction to travel. Survival isn't just about moving randomly. It's about moving intelligently, deliberately, with purpose. Avoiding hazards, finding water and food sources, locating shelter. All of this requires knowing where you are and where you're going. Think about survivalists unfolding large regional maps, marking safe routes with pencils, planning stages of their journey, and navigating through dense forests or abandoned cities. They estimate distances, identify terrain features, and avoid dangerous areas based on their map reading skills. Navigation reduces fatigue, confusion, and the very real risk of getting lost in unfamiliar or changed terrain. Even in urban environments, maps help you locate potential shelters, water sources, or designated safe zones. Combining analog skills with modern GPS while it works ensures flexibility. Learn to read terrain features, rivers, ridges, valleys, road networks. Understanding how to interpret contour lines on topographic maps gives you a three-dimensional understanding of the landscape. Route planning prevents you from walking into ambushes, contaminated zones, or areas already stripped of resources. It lets you estimate travel time, identify rest points, and maintain a strategic advantage over people wandering aimlessly. Ultimately, navigation is freedom and safety in motion. Knowing your position and your destination ensures that even in the absolute chaos of global conflict, you maintain control, confidence, and direction. Without navigation, you're just wandering, hoping to stumble into safety. With proper navigation tools and skills, you're making informed decisions that dramatically increase your survival probability. There you have it, 10 things you absolutely need if World War III that kicks off tomorrow. This isn't about being paranoid or pessimistic. It's about being realistic and prepared. Most people won't survive the first month of a major global conflict, not because they're unlucky, but because they're unprepared. Get your water filtration sorted. Stock non-perishable food, have shelter and warmth covered. Build a serious first aid kit. Invest in communication devices. Think about personal defense. Get proper clothing and protective gear. Carry quality multi-tools. Ensure you have portable power and lighting. And for the love of everything, learn to navigate without your phone. Preparation isn't glamorous, but it's the difference between being a victim and being a survivor. Start now while you still can.